Hi guy, ESF here. Today we're gonna try to jump into Dungeon Finder and see what we can come up with. We're also finishing off Glenumbra. Glenumbra is largely zombie themed. Glen and Umbra. Shadowy Glen, that's the idea behind it. As in some areas has some kind of rural Netherlands vibe going.
You lead.
It's no secret by now that I find the open world running around to be much more successful in this game than the main story quest chain and the organized questing in general. And we settled on Glenumbra to start working on that for the first part of the world that we wanted to explore. And I found it to be very beautiful, enjoyable, and delish. The History of the Fighters Guild, Part 2. Daenerys Vez, the Iron, initially believed that the entirety of the Order should be composed of Akaviri. This belief of his is not disputed by any historian, though his motivation is often debated. The traditional simple explanation is that he knew his countrymen well, trusted them, and felt that their tradition of fighting for profit would be of use. Others believe, with reason, that he and the Potentate sought to use the Order to effectively complete the conquest of Tamriel, begun over 500 years earlier. When Akavir attacked Tamriel in the 2703rd year of the First Era, they had been beaten back by the Riemann dynasty. Now they had a potentate on the throne, and with Daenerys Vez machinations, the local armies would also be Akaviri. What they had failed to do by combat, they would have successfully accomplished by patience. Many scholars suggest this was a traditional stratagem of the immortal snakemen, the Tzezeki of Akavir, who always had time on their side. The point, however, is largely academic. Though the Siflim did establish themselves in some kingdoms neighboring Cyrodiil, it became quickly apparent that local warriors were needed. When they say the Siflim, they mean the Fighters Guild. I'm just saying. Part of the problem was simply that there were not enough Akaviri for the work that needed to be done, kind of like bringing in immigrants. Another part was that the Snakemen did not understand the geography and politics of the region they were assigned. It was evident that some non-Akaviri were needed in the Siflim, and by the midpoint of the year, 3 Nords, a warrior sorceress, a rogue, and a knight were admitted into the order. The knight, whose name had been lost in the sands of time, was also a great armorer and probably did more to strengthen the organization than anyone but Daenerys Vez himself. As has often been stated, the Akaviri, particularly the Tzezeki, understood weaponry better than armor. Even if they could not wear it themselves, the knight was able to explain to the other Siflim the weaknesses in their opponent's armor, explaining to them how many joints there were in a pauldron and a greave, and the differences between Akatans and Amakans, gorgets and gletshrims, pallets and passguards, tabards and taziets. With this knowledge, they made long strides in defeating the brigands, doing far better than their meager numbers would suggest. It is a joke among historians that if Akavir had a Nord armorer in their employ in the First Era, they would have won the invasion. The success of these first 3 outsiders to the Siflim opened the door for more local members. Before the year was through, Daenerys Vez had spread his business throughout the Empire. Young men and women joined this new order en masse for a variety of reasons, including desperate poverty, love of action and adventure, or simply to aid their crime-stricken neighbors. Man, that evolved quickly, right? First it was just the Snakemen and the Akaviri, and then it was 3 Nords and the Snakemen and the Akaviri, and now suddenly it is literally everyone. That seems like a little much, to be honest. They received training and were immediately put to work helping the aristocracy's problems, assuming the roles of guards and soldiers within their... We get here Volenfell.
Shh! Get over here. Keep it down. It's not.
Burn it! We'll leave you bloody sad. Set it ablaze! Light! You got past my men. Did the Raya put you up to this? She's still out there, isn't she? Kill these pathetic. I'll have to do this myself. You're tougher than I thought. Let's see how you handle this. Here it is. Cower before the rod of Kravari. So, time for a different approach. Awaken, my darling. Set it ablaze! Light it up! I need heat.
You did it! Oh. It's an ancient...
This constant crescendo music is gonna make editing crazy difficult. In my personal view, modern day gaming consists out of a meditative portion and a ranking kind of battle game portion, if you will. Some games have both, some have only one.
Nice hole.
You could easily make the argument that games like Minecraft, for the largest portion and for the largest part, has only the meditative portion and the contemplation portion. And you could easily make the argument that a game like League of Legends has only the game portion. I think a game like World of Warcraft and a game like ESO has both, right? There's both a meditative part to it and just looking around kind of portion, and then there's a gaming portion. We have Shadow 50 on top of everything. That's pretty major. It's a pretty major moment for the character. Got a lot going on all at the same time here. And you have some channels like Rex Xanarex's channel that only concerns themselves with the gaming portion, and you have other channels like Travesine's channel or Robert Rambles' channel that only concerns themselves with the meditative portion. Every time that you transition from a game where you're only doing the meditative stuff, like ESO, and you transition from that, into... Am I completely... Okay. It's interesting that you make that intentionally in a way, you put that in your game intentionally in a way so that other players can screw each other. Would probably not have put that together like that, because now whenever somebody's just near, they can clown you by taking it right in front of you, taking it away from you. Like I said, we got a lot going at the same time. It's a daily show, I'm not really gonna avoid it. And some more awkward elements, we can't use this tower in any way. This guy is almost dead? What the F? This guy almost died fighting a regular mob. What in the hell is that? Had all sorts of weird things going on here. Anyway, I was saying, as I was saying, anytime that you transition from just doing the immersive portion to doing the actual game, you're gonna suffer, because the beginning of all of these things, like trying to do Path of Exile competitively, trying to do World of Warcraft competitively, trying to do Street Fighter competitively, trying to do ESO competitively, they're all going to hurt you in the beginning, right? In the beginning, everybody sucks. And that is what you're currently seeing in every dungeon that we're going to be running, right? We're going to suck for an incredibly long time. And in many ways, I really appreciated that more in League of Legends, because at least they're upfront about it. That's one of the most lovely things about League of Legends, in my opinion, that they're like honest with you from the beginning, like you're gonna suffer, right? There is a portion in me as well that, and people will hate this more than anything else I've ever said, but there's a portion in me that,
I don't suppose you've seen a frightened tailor wandering about. His name is Odai Philippe. I'm his wife, and I very much want to find him.
the alpha woman that is after the tiny little white guy that we saw a couple of episodes ago. I met a tailor who asked for my help.
That sounds like my sweet Odai. Kindest man in the world, but as helpless as a kitten.
Aren't all
He spent
men.
the night at the Lion Guard camp nearby, and he must have wandered off. He sleepwalks sometimes. Odai's not used to rough living.
There are wolves in the pass. He's taking the long way around.
Oh, I do hope he isn't frightened. Even deer tend to startle poor Odai. I was taking him to my mother's home in Wayrest. She just loves Odai to pieces. I can better concentrate on my job if I know Odai's safe.
Keeping her man safe, like the average woman. Odai should be along at any moment. I recovered the tools of his trade.
Oh, look, there he is now. Poor bedraggled darling. Thank you for helping him. I really will feel better once I get him safely to my mother's house. I just adore him so. I'd hate for anything to happen to him. There you are, my poor darling. You must have been sleepwalking again. You were gone when I woke up.
Yes, dear. Sleepwalking. Again.
Was my little cuddle bear frightened? You're safe now. I'll get you to my mother's. Have you snug as a bug in a rug in no time. And don't worry, I'll kill anyone or anything that gets in our way.
Yes, dear. I'm sure you will.
Well, that's enough excitement for one day. Come along, dearest. The sooner we get you to safety, the sooner I can get back to work. Don't forget to thank the kind stranger for helping you, dear.
Thanks, stranger. For nothing.
Yeah, like almost the entire player base that survived at this point. I just remember Skyrim and Oblivion fondly, right? And like, I imagine just about any other person in this universe currently still here. I am just trying to find a way in between this cultural filth, right? Because I wonder, like, very strongly, even the most fanatical feminist women I can't imagine really like this kind of stuff. It's so completely obvious on its face what they did with this game that there's no need whatsoever to even explain it one single time. Like, everybody can tell. It's just like everything is on its face inversed, right? All the greatest scientists are all black people. All the most buff people, the most athletic people who are heroically saving everyone are all women, and so on, right? They just inversed everything, basically, as a kind of fanatical, progressive project, but not even progressive people agree with this because it's just way overboard. It's just like they went way too far with what they were trying to do. And every time you see it, you just kind of have to feel sorry for them because they ate the financial loss like something unbelievable. Like, this thing capsized. They're desperately trying to save it. They've been trying to save it. They asked CJ from Riker to please do promo videos for him. But as I was trying to say, and as I'm trying to enjoy what is left of this world, these transition phases are always going to be rough. Whenever you enter a kind of competitive element in a game, the game portion of the actual game, because we've done zero of that so far. We haven't done any of the actual game. This dungeon was the first portion, right? And whenever that happens, it's gonna be rough. And I was on my way to saying I never fully understood how in MMOs this culture started coming to life that is not only is it accepted, not only is it a thing, but it's even much beloved, where you have this dungeon group at breakneck speed, absolute literal breakneck speed, where the only point is speed, and it's really, there is no better comp than just saying Need for Speed. It's just like MMO Need for Speed, right? That's the entire point, and it's in every one of these games. It's to a slightly lesser extent in Final Fantasy MMO. It's in, obviously, World of Warcraft. It's obviously in this game. It's in all of these MMOs where we put a dungeon group together and the goal is, you know, in advance, like, we're gonna skip as much as possible. We're gonna complete the entire dungeon in under 3 minutes, and we're just gonna loot milk everything to the absolute max. We're going to try to be as inhumane as possible to everyone who's on these streets, but everybody knows this structure, and for some reason this really evolved to not only a part of MMOs, not only a part of online gaming, but by far one of the most popular parts of it. I completely disagree with that. Like, if I were to get back into things like World of Warcraft, I would certainly focus on PvP more than anything and just cut the poop, right? Cut all the extra indirect nonsense of, like, let's, you know, we're all gonna race and we're all gonna hate each other, we're all gonna each other, but we're too much of a bunch of cowards to do it directly, so instead we're gonna do this fake Need for Speed thing and like dungeon rush everything. I would imagine that if this game ever got serious, the only thing I really want to game in the very long term is a kind of arena combat and a kind of arena PvP. I'm gonna try to become the best that I can be at that. That's really what I want to focus on. Because like I said, like, if it were up to me, the other thing with the dungeon rushing, it wouldn't exist. I never understood what people like so much about that. Like, hey, we have the mythic dungeon runs now, and this player completed it in under 19 minutes and 30 seconds, but this other player completed the mythic dungeon in under 18 minutes and 50 seconds. I've never understood what the charm was in that. It's like as toxic as possible, and kind of like, I don't understand, if you're that into racing, why not just play a literal race game? Like, why deliberately go for something that was kind of modeled after a Dungeons and Dragons kind of mythical fantasy and then go into, oh yeah, now it's about racing? Not only is it in these games, but it is a major, extremely important portion of this game. And we will have to go through it as we build this character into a solid foundation for something that can grow into competitive arena combat.
No! Spare us, please!
A bountiful harvest for our reaper of souls.
Yeah, perhaps these maps can only get cleared when we have an actual active guild helping us work on it. We're already 41, so that was a crazy amount of experience from the thing, from the dungeon.
nice hole.
But in conclusion, I can just say it's something that down the line, it opens me up to a lot more respect for the new generation and everything that they do with hero shooters. You know, the new generation is really hero shooters, battle royale, and MOBA. That's the new generation. And to be honest, like, I pooped on that a lot, but revisiting this kind of thing today, I can see why it's dying. I really can. But 40 was kind of the hallmark for us, or the benchmark for us, or the gateway for us within the confines of this game. From now on, I will try to engage in this kind of thing once every physical day or real day. That might not mean once every episode though. If I record multiple episodes in a single day, like for example today, I will most likely only do a single dungeon in that group of episodes. But in real time, in the actual real world, I'll try a single one every day.
Optimistic harvesting.
It's bringing up a lot of things that a lot of people down the line, they really wouldn't want to admit it, and they wouldn't want to focus on it too much, you know. If you would look at, for example, the psychology behind cleaning a church together. So getting down on your hands and knees and, you know, getting a bucket with a mop and some water, and you put soap in it. You get together with the other church girls, you know, and you get together to clean the church, and we all have to do our own part of the church, and we all have to clean the, you know, one person has to dust off the altar, and the other person has to mop up the floor. Well, that thing is actually extremely similar to rushing these dungeons, these public dungeons in MMOs. If you actually see at what we're doing together, what we're doing with one another, it's very similar to cleaning a church together. Everybody has like a job to do, right? We all have to rush it, right? Everybody runs only, more than anything, everybody runs only purely on the social awkwardness of it all. If you really went and asked these people, I started doing this when I was 20 years old. Like running public dungeons. I'm 31 now, right? In World of Warcraft, despite what I said, I've actually become quite good at it. Right? I'm actually quite good at running these public dungeons. In most cases, I would tank or I would heal. But I've become quite good at it, and I can legitimately tell you, I'm one of the many people who, in the beginning, from the get-go, on the first time that I did it when I was 20 years old, I was already calling BS on it, and I was already saying, hey, this really doesn't make sense. And I got cussed out for it a bunch when I was 20. And kind of true just generally the evolution of video games, as well as just everyone just goes along to get along, right? Just like everybody else. There's really no single person that really would invent this on their own. This kind of completing these dungeon runs as fast as possible. It's all a bunch of people who just decided like, hey, I'm gonna be like everyone else. I'm gonna try to fit in.
The next pub, Fla.
And within the confines of those MMOs, I was no different. Was the exact same for me.
Need that walking around wreaking havoc, right?
Most people, they don't know why they're doing it. They don't know why they're dungeon rushing. They don't know why they're completing the thing in 5 minutes, right? The entire dungeon. They're just afraid to say something. And that's how I started at it too. Yeah. But most people wouldn't come up with this as like, oh, this is the thing I really want to do with my life, is like spam rush these dungeons. Everybody kind of behind the scenes feels the same way about it. Like, it's just a kind of thing we all started doing and nobody really knows why we're doing it, but we're rushing each other into it just like cleaning a church. We have a Nereid stole my husband. A Nereid stole my husband a Nereid stole. Beware the maids of the seed strand, lest you be the next weakened soul. We strolled blindly along the shore, gathering shells and turning stones. When came the voice I now deplore, a voice, a song, such soaring tones. At once my husband quickly sped. Wait, I cried, 'tis an Nereid. But faster still the pressed ahead. Her sweet call could not be gainsaid. Too late, alas, alas, too late. I found him swaying deep in trawl. My worst fear sent me by fate. He followed the Nereid's call. And she, beautiful, cruel, and vain, sworn to her sisters, calling this back, your husband was no prize to gain. He's yours once more, Lady Crookback. A Nereid stole my husband, returning him without delay. Poor me near free from his demands, stuck instead with him since that day. It fits together thematically very well with the Taylor quest we just did with the Alpha Woman.
Can never have enough of that.
Got a nice little build up of the same vibe today. Got some pure water.
I never used to fight this much until I met you. Dare I say, I think you're being a good influence on me.
We have quite the eventful episode. I don't know, I think I unlocked more things in this one single episode than I have in the last 5 episodes combined.
Change of plans? too often.
Can't be fun, right? Just standing in one spot doing that over and over again.
Nice hole.
Good. We discovered the tomb of the apostle. And with that, guys, I think it's a good time to take a little bit of a break. Thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourselves in real life, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.